All right. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, whether live or through this recording. I'm really excited to share this with you. The key in this business, and one of the main things, is getting started. Like, how do I get started effectively and just right off the bat be able to have a good foundation built. And that's what this 6 weeks to elite is. So whether you've been doing this a while or you are brand new and wanting to start out, this is the way to do it. And it was developed, this is not me, obviously, because you can see me right over here. This was developed by Elise Shedvy, who is, she is like the top wellness advocate in doTERRA, like the top person in doTERRA, not like at the top of the structure. She's further down, but has one of the biggest teams. And she's very deliberate and great at systems. And so she's developed this with her team and with a bunch of research. And so what we're going to talk about today is not just, it's not my brainchild. This is something that has been proven in numerous teams to be effective, and when you use the right process and really just launch your business effectively. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and we have so much momentum right now, and I think this will just be like the catapult for things and to create even more wonderful things. Okay, so 6 weeks to elite. Now, a lot of us have worked towards elite and have done a lot of work to get there, and it's taken a long time. And today I'm going to show you why, all right, and how we can shift away from that. And we are focusing on elite because it is a foundation, and I'll talk to you about that in just a second. So, and we know what a foundation is, but think about, okay, if elite is foundation, what does that give us? All right. And so why would we want to create them? So, you know, which would you prefer? To have a building like this or have a building like this? This one, no foundation, it is like falling over, oh my goodness, what is going to happen? Versus this beautiful structure with an amazing foundation that is standing the test of time and is going to be there for, you know, ever. Of course, we're wanting to build this. So if we can learn how to build a foundation, then we can have something that lasts forever. And that's part of why we're doing this business, is to have that residual income coming in. And so we have to know how to build this foundation. And we have to start from the ground up, right? And that it has to be steady. You need to have rebar in there and the cement and all of that to make sure that everything on top is strong. Just like we talked earlier in the oil camps class, we talked about having a nutritional foundation. If you don't have that nutritional foundation, everything else can crumble. But when you have it, everything else can up level. So that's what we're going to do today. So we can have some just amazing structures built and just create some awesome things. Like I said, the foundation for that is elite. Nicole, did you get your pin yet? Your like doTERRA elite pin? So when you get elite and they give you like this certificate and you have like a pin on there and it says elite. So if you haven't gotten that yet, spoiler alert, that's coming your way. And then you can proudly wear your elite pin wherever you go, or cherish it, or put it on your vision board, or whatever, something that you manifested. It's foundational. It's awesome. It's such a huge accomplishment. Okay. So with Elite, we're focusing on sharing with people, and we're developing and getting to get Elite. You need through 3,000 points, 3,000 PV between you and everybody else underneath you. You don't have to have a certain number of legs. It's just about volume. All right. And if we can learn to build this, then it's the foundation for everything else. Because Elite, 3 elites build silver, and the average annual earnings for a silver is $26,000 a year. That's not bad. So if you, and like Nicole, you have reached elite. So you just show 3 people how to do that, and you're silver. You know how to do that. Now, you might have done it the ineffective way. Today, we're going to learn the effective way. Now, if you have 3 silvers, so let's say those 3 elites, since we did it effectively, they can show 3 other people how to reach elite. So then they're silvers, you're platinum. The average annual earning for a platinum is over $100,000 a year. That's incredible. I hope you're seeing how feasible this is, how possible this is to create once we know how to lay a good foundation. And that is why I'm so excited for this class today, because we're going to be building this foundation. Add 1 more silver leg, your diamond, $200,000 a year in average annual earnings. That's incredible. Okay. Now, presidential, you change your silvers, you help them reach platinum, and yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Now, the person that developed this and that tested this out and tried it out on her team, she is a triple diamond. So she built to presidential. This guy, now remember, each of these guys have 3 silvers. That's to be platinum. She built a presidential, and then she built a presidential again, and then she built 4 more legs out to silver to reach diamond again. And I'm sure she's close to presidential diamond once again to hit triple diamond or triple presidential. And so if this is the earnings of 1 presidential, you can just imagine. All right. So with that, then let's talk about jumpstarting your business and laying that good foundation with the Elite in 6 weeks, helping your builders become elite and teach leaders to help others to become elite. And so part of why I am doing this and why I'm going to be showing up for you every single Saturday to help you guys learn these basics and learn these foundational principles, and then putting them into our Facebook group so that you can walk people through this at any given point. All right, so that this foundation is there, the blueprints for it are there and accessible and reviewable at any time. All right, because I believe in this and I believe in you guys, and I know you can do this. And I'm so excited to see what this is going to create for us, not only in touching and impacting lives on a physical, a health standpoint, how many more lives we're going to be able to touch, but also impacting the financial lives of people, because this business is powerful for that as well. Okay, I want to show you, and this was a big eye-opener for me when I listened to this next part with Elise Shedvey. I'm going to show you this ineffective versus effective way of building to elite. All right, so let me just, and I'll need your feedback here for a second to make sure that you're seeing this properly. Okay, so are you, Nicole, are you seeing the elite cycle, that PowerPoint up there?
Yeah, but I just see her right now.
Oh, just her?
Yep. I mean, I see it over on the left-hand side, yeah. And then the cover page of her.
Okay, let me...
Maybe as you scroll through it.
Okay, do you see the big circle now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. Thank you, thank you. All right, so in this, we're gonna talk about the elite cycle. Now, maybe this will resonate with you like it resonated with me, and hopefully it'll create a shift for you as well like it did within me. So a lot of times when we're starting out, remember we need to get elite, we need 3,000 OV, so $3,000 in sales basically. And so let's say we talk to 30 people. And now this is the ineffective way. And I'm so guilty of this, so guilty of this. So we talked to 30 people, but we might not be doing it effectively. We maybe didn't sample properly. We maybe didn't invite properly. And so maybe 10, we actually get invited to the class and they say that they're gonna come. But we really didn't follow the good sampling and inviting stuff on there. So only like 3 people show up, if that, right? And so we've done all this work, we've prepared this class, and only 3 people come. Now, because they weren't sampled properly, because they weren't invited properly, maybe only like 1 purchases. All right. And so, I mean, it's cool that 1 purchase, that person's life is going to be changed. That's great. But really, in time spent and everything, that $23 that you made from all of that, it might not, it can feel discouraging at times because you did all of this work, right? You're very happy for that person, of course, but that $23, and you're like, okay, well, hopefully there's a better way. Well, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but let's carry this out. All right, so about 25%, when you're doing it ineffectively, about 25% of the people that you sign up are getting on LRP. So then if we just take that, and I know this is kind of number stuff, I really like numbers, so this resonates with me, but you continue to have like 25 PV then on average coming in month by month, all right? So 15% of those become like sharers or builders. Okay, so we're adding about 21 OV each month for that because we have a builder on there. So, and these are averages across doTERRA, like these are percentages across doTERRA and things. So these are real percentages with that. Okay, so then over time, from all of that work, it's really 161 OV each month. So that means we would need to have so many classes. We need to have like 18 classes, talk to 558 people. It's a lot. And that's a lot of people, for one, to be talking to, and a lot of classes. And actually, I think the decimal place is in the wrong place because it was more, I think it was over 100 classes. But anyways, yeah, it was over 100 classes and this huge amount of time and this huge number of people to be talking to just get to elite. That is not the time freedom that we're looking for. A lot of us in this business, we're not only looking for financial freedom, but also time freedom as well. And that's not creating it. Okay, so let's look at the effective way of building to elite. So if we talk to 20 people effectively, we've made our names list, we've ranked them, so we're going through the process that has been shown. We invite 10 people properly, and so they've been sampled properly, they've had an awesome experience, they've been invited, they've been reminded, they've been followed up with, and 8 people show up. Big shift. These are the percentages that they're seeing with this. 6 of those end up purchasing. This is the average. When they are ready, when they are prepared and come to class, they're ready. They're ready to get started. And so you have 6 of those. So then rather than the $23 made from a class, you have $138 made from a class and from those efforts, from talking with 20 people. You enroll when you're doing this effectively, 50% of your people get enrolled on LRP, and the average is 100 a month. And then the average is one person becomes a builder or a sharer, so wants to host a class or wants to do the business with you, which creates more for you. And so the total volume after all said and done, and with the classes and everything, that creates over 1,200 OV. All right. And so then you're talking to a lot less people, and you have to do a lot less, way fewer classes as well. That seems a lot more feasible than 500 and whatever people, right? So if we're doing this effectively, these are the numbers that we're seeing on average all over the world in all different size teams. Okay, so when we're doing these things properly and following these basics that we're covering each week, then we can see these sort of results. Okay, so back to the other PowerPoint. Okay, so now creating that sort of momentum and doing that effectively and reaching elite in 6 weeks, you can see now when we're doing it effectively how much more feasible that is. Okay, so let's start out with the basics of this. So it's a 5-step process. You need to first off choose which week to start. And I would advise and this is the first week to start actually doing classes. The actual beginning of the 6 weeks is 2 weeks before that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so you choose a week to start. You make a list of 100 people. Because remember, or when we first talked about that in the other screen, it was like about less than 50 people. So if we have a list of 100, that's going to be enough to fuel this start. Schedule 4 classes in 1 week. Guarantee good attendance by following the training and stuff and things, and doing things effectively for sampling and inviting, and inviting others to host future classes. Okay, so let's break this down. So for me, I have decided that my launch week, my week to have classes, is going to be on the first week of June. Now, I want to do the first week of June, and I would advise to do that launch week as either the first or second week of the month, so that you have time to book classes off of those classes and finish out elite through those classes that your people are inviting people to. Okay, and that finishes it off. Okay, so 2 to 8 weeks away, and you want to get going on that because you don't want to have it forever away. One, if somebody's starting out in this, they need to have success. You want them to have success as quickly as possible, and because it creates momentum. And because once they've made that decision is a momentous thing, and you want to just keep that momentum going. And the sooner they have success, the sooner they see their first check, which is, with the Fast Start, you get your first check the very next week after you enroll somebody. And so, and if it's a new person, especially, make sure that that week is at least 2 weeks away. I would say that's like the ideal, so that they can get trained on how to invite, how to sample, things like that. All right. And that is why we're doing this elite in 6 weeks in the second Saturday of the month, so that in the third and fourth week of the month, we can really be inviting and sampling properly and be able to launch those 4 classes at the beginning of the following month. See how this is working? So you really need to ask yourself, okay, do I want to do this effectively or ineffectively? And just go for it. Just go for it. Okay, so I have mine on the books for June, the first week of June, and you want to schedule it out. Step 2, make a list and send out samples to 100 people on the list. Now, we're not just sending out samples willy-nilly, right? We're qualifying people and we're doing it properly. Now, if you're doing online classes, there's a great webinar, and I did listen to, or that podcast. I did listen to that podcast. I love how she's qualifying people for her online classes before she sends out samples. I think this is a great idea and how she was doing it. And just a few samples. We're not talking about 10 samples and billions of dollars. You've qualified these people. They are ready to engage in natural solutions, and we've also asked them if they make sure they haven't enrolled yet and all that jazz. And when you're making your list, you do want to rate them based on these criteria. And these are the criteria that most of the diamonds in doTERRA have, all right? And so some of them are pretty simple things, but they're powerful things. So you want to start with the people, especially when you're first launching, start with the people that are high on this list. So you just give them 1 point per thing here, and it goes through that in the other daily mentor calls on making a list, so I won't go through that too much. But if you focus on your people that are like 5 to 7 for initial inviting to the first class, you're gonna have more success with those classes, all right? Okay, so then we're sampling all those people, we're addressing their health concerns, we're building trust, we're doing all that good sampling technique, and we need to schedule the 4 classes. So after they've had those good experiences, we need to immediately then invite them to one of our 4 classes. So you need to have them kind of spread out through the week a little bit, maybe some different times, so we can catch people at different times where they have different availability. So here's an example of what you could do just based on your thing. I know some people who go, all right, I'm gonna go 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, or Friday night and then 3 on Saturday. It really, you can make it however you think it would work best for you, and just rock and roll. The other really great thing with this is, let's say you're helping to launch a new person. So maybe you're doing it for yourself, but if you're launching a new person and they haven't taught a class yet, now mind you, they've taken 2 weeks of sampling and inviting, and the last week of the month for the business basics, we're learning how to teach a class. So that Saturday before, I'm going to show you the effective way, and we're going to practice the effective way of teaching a class, okay? So they're going to have that in their brains before they move into their launch week. Now, initially though, when you're helping to launch somebody, this first class, your mentor, your sponsor, your enrollee should teach it for you. If you're like a brand new person, right? We're not just going to throw you to the wolves like, oh, here you go. Some people, you might have the confidence level to do that and things, and that's totally fine. I don't think I had a few people teach classes for me, but I just kind of went off running. Not necessarily effectively, because we didn't have these sort of things, this sort of training. But okay, so you start off with them teaching for you. Okay, so you're teaching, let's speak from, I'm the mentor, I'm helping to launch somebody. I teach the class for them. Then over the next 2 classes, you have your person, your new builder, teach portions of the class, okay? And we have those specific portions, and so you can just ask them, hey, are you comfortable with the 3 cool things about essential oils. Are you comfortable with the 3 ways to use essential oils? Are you comfortable with facilitating the testimonial time? You know, and so we've already have it chunked up so you can ask them specifically which sections they're comfortable with and have them start with that. And you have them build to that 4th class. They are teaching the whole thing and you're there for support and to help enroll people. Okay, so at the end of this, they are self-sufficient with being able to teach a class. So you're not teaching the class for them any longer. I mean, yeah, you might come in and, you know, guest speaker or whatnot, but they have the confidence. That's one of your goals in this, is by the end of that launch week, that first week of teaching classes, they are confident and can teach that class on their own. That simple Essential Oils 101 class. All right. Step 4, guarantee good attendance. We're using that proper contact method. We're giving them samples that address their need. We're following up. We're doing a call a couple of days later with our sampling. Once they've had that good experience, we're calling 2 days before the class and text 2 hours before as well for the presentation. And if we do these things and we've got the scripts, you already learned them last week, they're on there for last week, then we can expect to have that 80% attendance rather than 30%. And then a part of the Essential Oil 101 class is having a section of booking classes from classes. And so you would then want to have 2 classes per week for the next like 5 weeks. Now, I shorten this up a little bit because if you, I mean, you want to have those other classes coming in, but let's say like this is the first week of the month, okay? And I will show you, this is, I mean, this is fantastic, okay? Because if you have these 4 classes, to book 2 classes from each of those 4 classes is very feasible. And you might end up having more too, depending. And some of those people are gonna end up wanting to be like builders and sharers, and you find that out when you do their wellness consult with them. So you have the 4 classes. This prep week, you don't ever want to schedule a class the very following week when you're scheduling classes off of classes, because you need to train your hosts. And there's an awesome call on how to work with hosts. And it's a really great way to also identify how committed they are. And if they end up being like a builder rather than just like a host for the class. And with the steps that we did before, okay? You sit down with a host and you sit down with them and you talk to them about how you want them to have, you want their class to be just as successful as your class. And you show them, these are the things that I did to help guarantee that, that my class was a great class and that you had a great experience. So of these things here, and you know, go through it with making a list of people, and it might not be 100, you know, maybe have them do like 20 or 30, okay? Depending on if they want to build, if they've told you that they want to build, or if they're just like hosting a class. So have them, you know, make a list of people that they would like to give a sample to, contacting the people and learning how to contact properly, learning how to sample properly, and tell them, hey, I've got text I can give you, I have scripts I can give you. So to make sure that this is happening, great. Following up with people, contacting before the class, contacting after, and doing this effectively. And put it open, leave it open to them and ask them, how much of this would you like to do? How involved in this would you like to be? How much of this would you like to learn and do? And they might say, well, I could make the list and you know, maybe give them a sample, but like following up with them afterwards, I'm not really quite sure, and that makes me a little bit nervous. But I could probably, you know, I can do the reminder calls and I can do the text before. Like that'd be good. Or they might say, you know what, I really want to go after this and I want to learn how to do all of these parts. Well, that's a pretty good indicator that they might be a good builder for you, right? But if they're like, okay, I can make the list, but I don't really, I'm not really comfortable with like helping them find a sample. So, and you can be like, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So how about you can connect us through Messenger? Like you can make the initial contact and say, hey, I'm hosting this class. I'm helping people find natural solutions for things, and you came to mind. Would you be interested in a sample? And so you can give them a simple script like that. And then if they come back with a yes, say, hey, can I connect you through Messenger with my wellness advocate that can help you find the sample that's best for you? All right. So then you're meeting with them through Messenger, or if they want to do a 3-way call or something like that. Okay. Real low key way of them sort of introducing you to them. And then you can kind of take it from there with getting them a sample, getting it delivered to them, calling them, and contacting. And I would still have the host see if they're comfortable with, you know, calling Tuesdays before, texting 2 days before. Now, I would at least have them be doing that because, you know, you're giving them that keychain and you're giving them the different samples with how many people are showing up. So, so yeah. So you're working with the host well so that they have a good experience. So then you have that preparation part with them inviting those 20 to 30 people and helping to sample them is happening in this week. And then you have the class scheduled once they have a good experience to come to the classes down the road. So with the 4 classes that we have, with that elite cycle that she showed, these 4 classes can almost get you to elite with just the averages when we're doing this effectively. Okay, so then these other 2 classes are kind of like your guarantee that you're gonna be getting elite. So if this is the first, second, third, fourth week of the month, okay? And then also you're doing this effectively and getting people on LRP. So you're probably gonna overshoot elite in this section, but you want to, because then you have that LRP coming in for the next month, and you have these 2 classes set up already from those ones. Maybe you do a couple of more after that. And so this is in the following month, right? So you have the LRP coming in, you have the 2 classes with new people that you're gonna schedule classes from, and you have your own classes that you're doing with your other new prospects that you're personally reaching out to. Maybe they didn't come to your 4 classes. Maybe they're people that you now have met or have added to your list. They got back to you finally, things like that. So you're bringing in these new people and you're keeping that stream going into your pipeline. So you can see that doing this effectively really is creating a flow. So step 4, we talked about getting future classes on the calendar, giving everyone that agrees to host a free gift. So, and I would recommend the thing that they saw that worked best, it's not expensive, and so it's very duplicatable as well. And you're using this keychain in the class. It's a part of teaching. So you're adding value to this wonderful little keychain. And so they're excited. They're excited about it, and it's a great, great gift. So you're giving them an empty keychain at the class when they agree to host and they book a class on your calendar. And then for every person that comes to the class, you give them a free sample. And that can be anything, probably based on what their health goals are and things like that too. And this is a great thing too. Maybe they came to a class And they are just, they're loving this. They're loving this, but financially they might not be able to get a kit. They can still host and they can still get those free samples. And maybe you sit down with them to host and they got their list ready. They are wanting to learn all the scripts. And maybe that first class of theirs gets that first kit paid for, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? All right. And then you can get this new builder going and having success just like right off the bat. And we can talk technicalities of that. Okay. So who is this for? And it's new, for new team members. And it's okay, think about your fast start bonus with this. This is not, you're not waiting for money to come in. It's coming in the very next week off of this. And it's amazing duplication model. And you can see that these are basic things, and just going for it and doing it. So now you know how to build a good foundation, how to effectively, quickly become elite, help your builders become elite. And once you can do that, you can help your leaders and duplicate. And you can see how this can just create some amazing, amazing things. Okay. So what questions, concerns, comments do you have at this point? Anything that's kind of fuzzy that you want me to address? Oh, so Nicole, is there anything that you are, that seems fuzzy that you might want to, that you have questions about or anything? Not sure if you can hear me. So I will stop recording, but I will continue. I'll take some comments. I will post this in our Facebook group for Builders Empower Wellness Team and in the unit section. And this will be in unit 3, which would be week 2 of the business basics. And I'll give you all of the daily mentor calls to listen to, and so that you can do this, and a way to plan it out and reach out to your mentor and get it scheduled and just go through.
Sorry, Lisa, no questions, super helpful.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to stop recording really quick.